Hey folks, welcome back to Finance Fridays. I'm your host, Lucas Bolahood with Coldwell Banker RMR and the Bolahood Group. I'm joined again today by my good friend, Alex Jobe with RBC. Alex, how are you?
I'm good, Luke. How are you?
Doing okay today. I had an interesting meeting this week. We had an interesting topic anyways, a discussion in our business meeting that I think would be worthwhile for us to touch back on here because it's a
Right?
really frustrating pain point that I think we get from the financing side of our business, and that comes down to a home appraisal. So let me just tell you
Yeah.
quickly about this story. So there's a home that is a seller listing in our office that is due to close next week, and the listing agent got a call from the cooperating brokerage, basically requesting a appraisal on the day of closing. A couple hours before the transaction
the
scheduled
day
to
of
close.
closing.
Seriously, the day of closing, they wanted to come through for an appraisal. And I'm thinking to myself, you got to be kidding me, right? Like that, what a joke that would be. I'm thinking this deal was, and stepping back a little bit, the deal was done a couple of months ago, a little bit of longer closing. And now they're coming in and they wanted the appraisal now, right before they close. So look at all these things, people's hair on fire. You've got the seller in the situation who's moving out of their home, moving somewhere else. They don't want to have to carry two homes if that property transaction doesn't close. Then you've also got this buyer who's suddenly stressed out last minute before they're supposed to move in and take possession of this house, thinking, oh my gosh, is the appraisal going to come up short? Now I'm out however much money that I've got to come up to close this property, or I'm at risk of breaching the agreement of purchase and sale. Like that's a huge stressor for people, and I just can't believe that folks are still working with these lenders that operate in such a disorganized fashion. There's so much time ahead that they could have done this,
and it leaves the clients hanging, right? And they don't know what they don't know, but the lenders do know how to do this properly. I can tell you one thing that doesn't happen at RBC. I can't even imagine putting that pressure on all parties involved, right? Like you said, you got both sides where this could blow a deal. I mean, it probably will close. It's probably a subdivision home that has held its value. Even if it's come down a little bit and the client has a large down payment, it probably still will close. But who does that last minute? I mean, clearly the financing isn't in order when they're doing that the day of closing. It's not even, I mean, what if there was a hiccup, right?
Yeah, exactly. There's so many things going on in the world right now, and like, look at what happened on the weekend here in between Uxbridge and around Durham and Peterborough with the storm that came through, right? I mean, we talked about this before with RBC and once your mortgage has been approved, and they've got all the documents in place, that's guaranteed. It's going to close. You're not going to come up short or have an appraisal last minute. Here's an example. Like, okay, so I'm sure you drove down the street on your way home from your holiday weekend and you saw trees had fallen across the road or on neighbor property, whatever. Imagine that fell on your house or fell on your car or something like that, and you've got to go out and get that repaired. And suddenly there's this, new debt, let's say, on your record, on your file, and then now you can't close that property or can't close on that purchase and get the loan to buy the house because you've now got a car payment on your record here. So right, it's just like, oh my gosh, talk about things hit the fan, and then you're just left out there blowing in the wind by yourself. Like, oh my gosh. So I couldn't imagine being in that situation. That's why, it's really, I think, important.
As a mortgage specialist with
working with someone you can trust.
As a mortgage specialist with RBC, I mean, I have the peace of mind that my closings, it's going to happen once we've issued that firm approval. My agents know that, and then the clients know that. So it's so important to have those things. You don't have those surprises where you need to requalify or you're putting those pieces of the puzzle together on like the last minute. That's terrible. And it's certainly about the client experience, and we want to make sure that that's smooth for them and they don't have any headaches, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Anytime I can encourage someone to have a meeting with you or anyone at RBC, I think it gives me some peace of mind knowing that they're going to be well taken care of from that aspect of things, because it's one of the biggest stressors that's out of your control, really. Which is an interesting, troubling thing that a reality these days. Now, the other thing I wanted to touch on our discussion today was, it's the end of May here. June 1st is another announcement coming out from the Bank of Canada. So we're going to hear about some more rate increases coming. which kind of brings up the debate again around, and you talked about this recently too, is the differences between a fixed and a variable rate. And if you want to sort of break the term on a mortgage, there's some, we'll call it a penalty, an interest rate penalty or a fee that comes into play there. So, you know, if someone is on a variable plan right now, let's say, and they're getting a little bit concerned with the direction that rates are going, even though traditionally speaking, interest rates on the variable side are going to be lower than a fixed rate. You know, if someone decides, maybe I should lock into a fixed, you know, how might you guide them through that discussion about what options are out there for them?
So if the mortgage is with RBC, then that's just a straight, reallocation of funds into a new term. So like we've covered in past episodes, if you're on the variable, you have the option to lock into the length of your remaining term or longer. But one option that not a lot of people know about is with RBC and our product called our Homelife Plan, you can actually diversify your mortgage, like how you use that terminology for your investments. You want a diversified portfolio. With RBC's Homelife Plan, you actually have the option to go into 5 different mortgage segments if you want to. That gets a little bit complex, but I like to present, you know, even half fixed, half variable. So let's give a $500,000 mortgage, for example. You could put $250,000 into a fixed mortgage segment and $250,000 into a variable mortgage segment, and then you have the best of both worlds, experiencing, you know, the fixed security and then that variable, the lower rate, and ride that out. So yeah, it's a great thing to review with our clients, and I think they're pleased when they see that. If they're torn as to which way to go, why not think about that? Do half and half.
You can take the best of both. Now, is that sort of turn into 2 separate payments where I'm making one on a fixed and one on a variable, or do you blend them together?
Yeah, you would see 2 mortgage segment payments come out of your account, I guess essentially 2 debit withdrawals, but they come out at the same time. So it's really the same thing, right? Same day, same time.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome. So that's an interesting one. And so like if I was trying to think of, you know, in terms of how, like, where rates are at today and what that might look like for somebody. So it's if it's 250,000 at 4.5% on the fixed and 250,000 at 3.5 on the variable. I'd love to see how those plans work out, but I'm putting you on the spot to see what that payment would look
We're
like.
gonna have to get the mortgage calculator, payment calculator out, but maybe we could do that on the next one, and I can actually show you how it goes. I could do a share screen, and we'll do it.
Yeah, maybe we should. I think that would be great. Now, Alex, I think that's all the kind of stuff I wanted to talk about really today, because that was just such a story to hear that we've talked about before, and then suddenly look at this, what happens in real life where an appraisal is going to come in last minute, and it's just like, oh gosh, this so could have been avoided.
I feel like people don't believe us when we say it, and there you go, you just witnessed it with something, you know, close by. So
yeah, so it's you know, certainly incredible to see, and why RBC is so great. So I think that's all I had for today. Let's chat again soon about this. Maybe we can break it down in a more visual aspect of how those kind of payments might work, just even briefly. And you know, we can go from there. But thanks so much for joining me again today, folks. Have yourselves a wonderful rest of your week here. You'll find all of our contact information at the end of this video. Feel free to leave a comment, share, follow, subscribe. We'd love to hear from you. So until next time, have yourselves a wonderful day. Bye for now.
See ya.